And we're live.
We're going.
Doing it. Episode 4.
Episode 4.
Just
This
episode
is
9.
this is episode 9. Welcome
Might be a
back,
little late.
everybody. Oh, yeah. So we're gonna get right into it. I think at this point, if you're listening, you know what to do, and give us that rating, review, like, subscribe. We are on Apple Podcasts now, so if that is your preferred listening platform, we are on there. So head over there and do whatever you do on Apple Podcasts. I don't know. I don't use Apple Podcasts,
Subscribe it
but
up.
um, yeah. So welcome back, episode 9. Next week we have our special guest on. Pretty excited for that. It's gonna be a really cool episode, so be sure to tune in for that one. Um, yeah, let's get into it. Brandon,
Let's do it up.
what's going on, man?
Dude, it's just another day in paradise, man. How have the holidays been?
Busy, but not busy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Actually. Because I
Like,
feel like I'm in a very similar boat.
right. Like I think back and I felt like the whole time I was busy, but I also felt like the whole time I didn't do anything.
Yeah. It was like a lot of energy into like nothing.
Yeah. And now I'm at the beach, which is nice. It's been good to kind of disconnect. I'm not fully disconnected, obviously. I'm here right now. Um,
At
at
11 o'clock at night. Shoot.
11 o'clock.
Shooting
Um,
podcast.
but it's been good to kind of be away from everything in New York and just decompress a little bit.
For sure.
Um, I've still been training, which has been cool. Found a gym down here, and it's like a boxing gym, which
Yeah,
has
it's like a
been.
UFC gym or something.
No, not UFC, straight up boxing. Like,
Ah.
um, a whole bunch of heavy bags. There's an actual ring. Um, there seems to always be someone in there that's just punching shit. So
Yeah.
it's been interesting. Leg day was pretty subpar. What
I
are you
can't
doing?
get this light. I can't get this light to work.
That's You look great.
Yeah, don't mind me.
Um, yeah, leg day was pretty subpar. The equipment there just wasn't good. Um,
Yeah,
when I was looking through the photos of the place before we went there, I saw a linear hack squat, and I got really excited because I haven't hack squatted in forever. But it was one of those body solid hack squat leg press machines, and basically it was good at neither of those things. It was one of those two-in-one machines that was really just a zero-in-one machine.
yeah, total zero.
Yeah. Like a hack squat, you couldn't even like come close to depth.
Hmm.
Um, and like the angles of everything was super weird. And then leg press, again, you couldn't even come close to depth. And the angle of what you were pressing on was just fucked up.
Doo doo.
Yeah, it was so bad. So that
That's
was that was worthless. I still RDL'd though, so that was fun.
I did see that.
After sitting all day, it still went pretty well, honestly.
Hmm. Yeah,
I
you
was
drove down, bro,
Yeah.
today
No, 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 no.
or yesterday? No, you've been there for a little bit actually.
2 days
2 days.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 days ago. Drove down, 12-hour drive. Um, and I was really thinking my hips were going to be super, super locked up
Yeah.
going into the session, but I felt okay.
Mm.
Um, I think ironic or kind of interestingly enough, I took some extra time in my warm up and I adjusted my stance a little bit. I actually brought my feet in a little bit closer, and I think it helped me a lot. I think I was standing a little bit too wide, and it made it difficult for me to, I guess, externally rotate enough
Mm.
um, to have, proper leverages coming out of the bottom. So it'll be cool to kind of take that adjustment when I'm back home and fully fresh and things are standard going into a session. Um, it'll be cool. See
Mm.
how differences. I'm in a competition with Calvin now.
Bro.
To shout out to Calvin. I think you pronounce his last name as Burgess.
Yeah, Burgess. So,
Yeah, Calvin Burgess. Um, we are now in a competition for the first one to RDL 425 9 times.
holy shit.
So that's fun. I love Calvin. I just have in my own head a little rivalry with him, and I just continuously try and like
Yeah.
one up all of his stuff that he does.
Yeah. It's because you guys are pretty close in all your lifts,
Yeah,
right?
we're super
Obviously.
close in most of our lifts.
Yeah.
Um, I think he far out presses me, but
Hmm.
that doesn't surprise me. Um, my presses are shit. So be it. But yeah, and like leg stuff, um, we definitely kind of go back and forth, which is fun. And he's blowing me out of the water with rows right now. So
Yeah. What is he rowing?
I think he rode like 335 for like 11,
Okay.
and my last row was 325 for like 8.
Yeah.
There's a big difference there, by the way.
Yeah,
It doesn't sound like it's that far off, but in terms of rowing, there's a lot. That's a lot
yeah,
there. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, it's fun to have someone to just like in a very friendly, competitive manner, just
yeah.
kind of go
It's
back and forth with, right? It
yeah,
kind of drives you, and you're like, I got to get one more rep
yeah,
just to kind of beat the person,
yeah. It's
and
healthy
then they come back
competition.
and beat it, and you just keep going back and forth, and it drives progression, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
All in friendly competition. So that's
Right.
been fun. I did push today,
Cool.
and actually went really well. I was really excited about the session. I switched to incline press. I've been flat pressing for a while, um, barbell, for those of you that don't watch my training. Um, I've been flat barbell pressing for a while, and just recently I've started to develop just some pain in my armpit area,
Okay.
and
Is it near your pec or is it like literally like inside of your armpit?
it's pretty inside. It's kind of like underside of the pec.
Okay.
Um, so I made the adjustment today and switched to incline from flat and see what how it felt. Um, and it actually felt a lot better.
Mm.
But I think where the issue is actually stemming from is my machine flies. I always feel machine flies super heavy right in the front delt.
Mm.
And I have a really hard time with that movement and getting it set up properly and doing it right. And I think it's just putting so much extra stress right in here
Mm.
that it's then carrying over to when I flat press. Um,
Okay.
so it wasn't like flat press was the issue or the cause of the issue. And so I'll be taking machine flies back out and figuring out some other um, exercise to put in. I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
Um, but I do think I am going to transition back over to incline. Um, just from the last couple weeks, my flat press kind of stalled a little bit, and I think I have a lot of progressive runway with incline again. So I'm just gonna make the switch over and hopefully have everything up in here feel a little bit better before I go back to flat pressing again.
Yeah.
Um, to me, I see them as pretty interchangeable movements, and if one feels better than the other, just kind of go for it.
Yeah.
Um, for the most part, I guess. But what about you, man? What have you been doing? How's your training been going? Are you
Training
eating?
been good. What have I been eating?
That's
Yeah, I
like so
actually
many
have
questions.
been
Have you been eating?
eating. I have been
Right
eating.
there.
Thank God.
Good. Good.
Um, these the past couple, like we were kind of saying earlier, like the past couple weeks have been a little bit more sporadic, but without a doubt, I'm hitting my recommended meal requirements. It's just the macros within them need to be tightened up a little bit, and Nick actually adjusted them, I believe, 2 days ago, and I actually just got around to looking at them today. So I'm at 3 meals, 65 GP, um, in all 3 meals. The fourth one is like a freebie, so it's 3 meals that are like planned, and then the fourth one's kind of like a freebie. Just got to make sure that I hit my protein, and then I kind of just pick out kind of. Um,
Gotcha.
so that's really nice. It's like such a
Protein
relief.
shake and pizza.
Well, yeah, that pizza dude. I know, seriously. I was like really tight on time today and I couldn't get pizza, but I couldn't get pizza, but it crossed my mind on my way to the Gravity Vault today. I was like, I should buy some pizza. I just didn't have time. But pizza's going back in for sure. I haven't had pizza in like 3 weeks now, so I'm definitely missing it. A lot of runway with pizza. A lot of runway with pizza.
Right. How's your weight been moving now that meals are kind of changed?
Weight hasn't really budged too much, and I think it's just because the caloric requirements aren't where they should be. So like the thing that has changed is my mentality towards my meals, like knowing that I don't have to hit 6 meals every day
Right.
is actually such a relief.
Right.
And like by the time like even like hitting meal one, I'm like, all right, today is already locked because I just hit two
Right.
meals and that's literally it, you know? Like I can hit 2 meals before I work out and I have the food that I need in me before, and then I can just smash another meal right after, and then the freebie right after that. So it's like it's much better on me mentally, and that alone, like it's kind of funny. Like nothing really changed except for just what was written in stone, and that you know what I mean. Like
Yeah, it's
because
traditional. Some people. It was less things to program into your day.
it was, yeah,
Right.
it was less things to worry about. Like literally, I'd wake up and I'd start my day with anxiety because I was like, if I don't get these first like 3 meals in, I'm fucked. Like that's it. I'm not gonna be able to kind of bounce back from that. So
Right.
that's good. Um, Meals are here, and now it's just up to the macros to kind of fall where they may. I was surprised to see 65 grams of protein, um,
Per
per
meal?
meal. Yeah, but it makes sense though. You know.
Oh, over 4 meals.
Yeah.
What is that? 250? 210? Two. What is
Basically
math?
like 260, yeah, basically. Because like,
That's
or
a
I'm sorry,
lot.
240-ish, 240-ish.
That is a lot.
Although those fives do trickle in, so it's probably around like 255, 60, 260. Yeah. So that is pretty high. It's the highest amount of protein I've ever been assigned before. So
I'm
yeah,
also
that's
eating
it.
250.
What'd you say?
I said I'm also eating 250 right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And how many meals are you eating? 5? Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that like 40 GP each?
50.
50.
50 a meal.
Gotcha. Yeah, weird. Yeah. So that's going well. And I've also been sleeping much better. I've
Good.
not, I haven't gone to bed like past 12. I mean, tonight might be an exception.
Tonight
But
will
I
be
like, yeah, I haven't really gone to bed past 12, like since I kind of made it a point to go to sleep not past 12. So that's kind of nice. And my lifts are going up. Um, I had a
funny
nice
how
row. Yeah. I had a
that.
nice row. Um, and I had a nice I did legs today. I had a really nice pull today on the RDL. Just decided to slap on the 25 instead of 210s today, and
Hey,
pulled
hey, fella.
285 for 5. So that was fun. Um, and yeah, and then instead of doing the lunges now with like loaded, I've just been doing occluded 10 minutes body weight.
Hmm.
But I think I need to add a little bit more because I'm already kind of like I'm not like used to it already, but it's like I need to bump the intensity up just a little bit more. So I'm probably gonna grab hold of some dumbbells and probably walk for a little bit, or I'll just walk for a little bit longer. But I think I'm gonna add a little bit of weight maybe and start including them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't because I don't really want to lunge for 12 minutes or 15
No.
minutes. So I may as well just like add the load and just take it to the 10 minutes like I was doing. That's really just like me doing something stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Intelligently stupid.
Right.
Because it's
No.
okay to do, but it's something that definitely challenges you and it requires the stability that you normally need and it's occluded. So it's just like, okay,
Yeah.
intensity's there and
That's. Yep.
and the other stuff is there that we need to pay attention to. So yeah, um, it felt badass to row 225 2 weeks ago, and
I
now
saw.
now it's like a normal thing, and now I have
Right.
to row 285. But I feel like I have to pull 285 a few more times before I can row it. So um,
Yeah.
yeah, we're
It's.
probably gonna be cleaning things up just a little bit.
You know what? It. You can't always have everything be perfectly clean the first time you try a new weight. Don't let yourself get paralyzed by needing perfect reps the first time you touch a weight.
Hmm.
You know, give yourself some room to be dirty. Get the stimulus that's going to force you to grow and adapt to moving that weight, and then clean it up from there.
Yeah, pretty
Right?
much.
It's like a it's like a 3 or 4 week cycle, right? You test a new weight. When you test the new weight, you're just trying to hit the bottom of your rep range, right? And then it's probably a little bit dirty, depending on how much you jump the weight. And then the next week is just focused on trying to clean up and at least match reps.
Hmm.
And cleaned it up there. And then you're looking to up a rep. And then you're looking to up a rep. And then you're looking to increase weight again.
Yep.
And expect that when you increase weight, it's not going to be a perfect. It's literally just you take a weight you move well, and then you take a weight you don't move so well, and you work on moving the weight that you don't move so well the same exact way that you move a weight well. If
Hmm.
that makes
Pretty
right.
much.
You're just trying to perform reps and sets progressively heavier, but over time make them look the same.
Yeah.
The first time you do it, it's not going to look the same. There's a confidence aspect that comes into that. There's um, there's parts of your body that have never felt that weight loaded that way before. Um, and then you are readjusting for how that weight feels in your hands. And there's all these things that when you are testing a new weight, which really, you know the way we train, we PR more than anybody because we are literally PRing every single week, whether it's a
Hmm.
rep PR or a weight PR.
Hmm.
But our goal is to PR every time
Yeah.
because we all of our programming is based off of progressive overload. And so when you do that, you can't expect your first jump up in weight to look exactly like the weight you just left. It
Yeah.
just won't.
Yeah.
Um,
You're probably gonna get bullied a little bit.
yeah, and but I really think confidence actually has a big part to play in it.
Hmm.
You kind of go into the set and oh, because we know it's a PR, right? We we know it's the first time we've touched the weight for that movement at least. And so it's like I don't know how this is gonna go, but we
Yeah.
just do it. But
Yeah.
then after you do it once, you're like, oh wow, I'm not dead. we we then
Yeah.
then go into the next cycle and we have the confidence knowing that we can handle the weight without
Yeah.
it destroying us.
Yeah.
And then you just move it better.
Hmm. Yeah, I think
Uh,
there's definitely an important piece is like we deserve or like we own the weight that we're working with to deserve the weight above it. Like we make sure that we can move well with the weight that we're working with. And then it isn't until we've established some sort of, proficiency like with that movement or where it looks super clean or we've hit our rep ranges and then we increase because we know that we've deserved those loads and that the increase that we're going to give ourselves will allow us to fall within the rep range below, which is typically like the 6 to 8. So like for those of
Yeah.
you guys who don't really know, um, we rock 2 sets and that's literally it. Pretty much on all of our exercises, we do just 2 sets. That is it, which sounds crazy to a lot of people. Like I tell people that and they're like, "What?" And also I think the progressing thing too. It's like I tell someone that I PR every week, or
Right.
someone will be like, was that a PR?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it was a PR." And they'll be like, "Whoa, like I'm pretty sure I saw you PR like the week before." Like I have a friend that like definitely looks at my numbers, which I feel like really thankful for because I'm like, yo, who the hell like cares? You know what I mean? But I do have
Right.
one friend that's like, yo, like I feel like he gets kind of sus because it's like I PR and then I PR and then I PR. You know what I mean? He's like, what the fuck? Like, how do you do that? You know what I mean? And it just comes down to just being super. It just comes in all honesty, I attribute it to the 2 set mentality because the 2 set mentality is unlike any other. So I wanted to ask you a question, and that was just, do you have like a favorite rep scheme that you like to chill with? So you've got like pyramids, like that pyramid down, so like 15, 12, 10, 8, or you can pyramid up. You can go 8, 10, 12, 15 where like you kind of decrease load but increase repetitions? Do you like 5x5, 10x10, or do you prefer the rep range that we're working with right now?
Oh, I'm definitely a top side downside guy.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
100%. There's some movements that I've actually added a third set to.
Hmm.
Um, but that's after
A
a
straight
year.
year.
Yeah, a whole year of literally doing 2 sets of
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
And I'm just now to a point where I'm like, okay, and also take in, I'm eating a lot now. And, I'm finally to a point where I'm like, okay, I think on this specific exercise, I think I can handle a third set
yeah.
and I'll be okay. Um, right? It's like one exercise is what I add a third set to, and all the rest of my cycle is still 2 sets.
Yeah, yep.
So it's very very specific in what we choose to add volume to.
Mm,
Because as we talked about, I think in the previous podcast, was the point of programming is to find a balance that allows you to perfectly recover from session to session, right?
yeah,
We talked about this when we were talking about deloads. In a perfect world, vacuum, whatever, you should never need a deload because
yeah.
you should perfectly recover.
Hmm.
But can't always happen.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, when I worked with Nick and we decided to put in a third set, it's because we've done so much testing and come to the conclusion that we can add volume here and it's not going to dig me a hole.
yeah,
Um, but there's, another side to that is in this year, I've learned to execute those 2 sets perfectly,
yeah,
right? Um, so I've learned to get the absolute most out of those 2 sets that I'm working within. And once you learn and execute that well, you can then figure out where to add volume,
yeah.
which would be
You
a
can
set.
introduce a little bit more either
Right,
volume or intensity to things. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I think that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Um, so, kind of where I was going with that is a lot of people that program for 5 sets are just because their first 2 or 3 sets are worthless to them.
Yeah.
Like they don't achieve the stimulus until their last two sets.
Yeah.
We've cut out all of that extra work and instead just learned to perfectly execute two sets.
Yeah. Like imagine if you had like a flashlight and it had like a super wide beam. That's literally you just doing like 10 sets of 10 and just like wasting all of your energy. And what we
Yep.
do is we take two sets and we narrow our beam, we narrow our focus and our intensity and our effort into literally two sets and get like the maximum amount of stimulus that you could possibly get out of those sets.
Yep. Yeah. With with something like 10 sets of 10, if you can somehow manage to do the first set of 10 and the last set of 10 with the same weight, you wasted every set except for the last one.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you did
Like,
like 8 reps, 8 reps, 8 reps, all up until set 9, and then on set 10, you're like, all right, it's time to just lay it all on the table. And you get 15. It's like you Joe Schmo. You weren't even working those first like 9 sets.
exactly, exactly. I,
Yeah.
uh, you'll ask. I've asked people before. I've watched them do a set, and I'll just be like, "Why did you stop? Why'd you stop your set? Why'd you stop doing reps?" And they're like, "Well, I got to save energy for the next set."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
No,
"Well,
you don't.
why?" No,
Yeah.
no, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't. You just wasted your ability to output.
Yeah.
You
You left
know?
5 reps on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. I call it
So
junk volume, is what I call it.
yeah, right. That's exactly what it is. It's just people program a whole bunch of junk volume because instead of learning to train with proper intensities and effort, they can just throw in a ton of volume and they know that they'll eventually, create the stimulus to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's like what they're doing is throwing a grenade in a pond. And, and I don't know what
We're like
our
just like sniping the water. We're like,
yeah, we're just like we have water vision goggles. Sure. We have water vision goggles and we can see the fish in the pond. And so we are specifically taking out what we want.
yeah. Yeah. We're getting the most
That
out
was
of the least.
terrible, terrible analogy.
11 o'clock analogies, man. It's all right.
Yeah,
But we are getting the most out of the least instead
right,
of, the least out of the most. And if you also think about it in
right. And
another
that's
in another way, it's like if you can if you push the ceiling of like
you're
adaptation. So if
breaking
you
up.
do like, oh, can you hear me? Gucci. Let me know if we're back.
I think we're back.
We back?
I think so.
All right, cool. The other thing that I just was gonna say was like if you are pushing things, if you push the volume up all the way, it takes away from the amount of runway that you have potentially in the future. Because we do 2 sets, we have that much more runway because we can add another set, or like we always do, we can add more weight until we get extremely proficient, and then you make the call to add that set, and then in adding that set, you've just added yourself more stimulus. If you've already capped out that aspect of things, then you can't really progress anymore. It's like if you start with 10 sets, what are you going to do? Add an 11th? Like, no. What you should
Yeah.
do is kind of taper back, um, reduce the amount of size that you're taking up, I guess, in that area, and then like streamline, shoot it somewhere important where it needs to go instead of just like blah, like just take all of my energy away. So,
Learn to be maximally efficient with the least
yeah.
amount of work.
Yep.
And I mean, you can even pull it back to one set. Like there's some things if you really went and to get the most out of one set, you would really have to be able to take it mentally to a different place. Um, but you could do it.
Yeah.
Um, but you would have to be so proficient at what you do. Two sets gives us a little bit more runway, or I guess flexibility to not have a perfect set, right? Only having one set demands perfection every time you go in.
Hmm.
Uh, it's generally not feasible,
Yeah, I
right?
wouldn't say
Like,
it's logical for
yeah,
progression, I guess.
right, right, exactly. Like, um, something that I would one set is like a hack squat, but that one set would be something that I would probably rest pause it,
Hmm.
right? Um, and it would be a set to like 50 reps,
Yeah.
or it would be timed.
Yeah.
Like you have to be on this hack squat trying to do reps for the next 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Go.
Some
Like,
intelligently planned stupidity.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I call them stupid sets.
Yeah.
Right. It's one set and it's really there to challenge your mental willpower
Hmm.
because it would never be something that you could just standardly program and try to progress.
Hmm.
One, because they will bury you. Doing one of those will put you out for a couple of days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and two, tracking it, just trying to track a set like that is so hard in
Well,
terms of
yeah.
rep standardization, how many reps you actually did,
Hmm.
you know, how long did you take in between reps? So like, maybe let's say I tried to track a hack squat set to 50. I've completed 52 different times with the same weight. One of them, I took 2 breaths in between each rep. The other one, I took 10 breaths in between each rep.
Mm.
You know, um, keeping track of all of those things make a difference in the set,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So stupid sets are fun to throw in every once in a while, just to challenge yourself, see what you're capable of, see how many screws you got loose, and then but don't. It's not something to program. It's just
Yeah.
you're kind of feeling you're either feeling good or you've had a really bad day in the gym and you're just like, I have to do something
Well,
insane to make me feel better.
yeah. I agree.
They are emotionally good for me.
Yeah. I think so too. I think so. I also started adding stupid smart sets for just like random things like probably 4 weeks ago,
Yeah,
just because I've been dumbbell walking lunging for like a year and a half. So
yeah.
like I kind of felt like I was like beating my head against a wall with that. So I moved to like occlusion things, occluded leg extensions for 100 reps, rest pauses in between.
Hmm.
That was pretty humbling, and
Yeah.
that was like the most humbling out of everything that I've done so far. I could still do like occluded Bulgarians. I'm already doing the walking lunge with nothing in my hand, but I think I need to start adding load. So I don't know. I should just go back to walking lunges.
You have a leg press,
I
like a
do.
plate load,
I do.
not like a stack one, but like a plate loaded one.
Yeah,
Get on that thing.
occluded.
Doesn't even have to be.
Just start going.
Just start going.
Fair
Pick
enough.
a weight that you think you can do for 20, and then find a way to get 50.
Fair enough.
Right? Just do things like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
I actually might do that in place of whatever I do next time, just to give it a try.
yeah. Another one that's fun is they're called railroads. And so you're on the leg press, and it's this whole pyramid. I know we aren't big on pyramids, but this one's something different. Not many people have actually completed it,
Only the
but
chosen one.
it's fun to see how far you can go, and then try and make it to the next step. But basically, what you do is you're on a plate loaded leg press, and you do one plate per side for 10 reps, two plates per side for 20 reps, three plates per side for 30 reps,
Bruh.
all the way up for 10 plates per side for 100 reps,
My
and then
God.
back
What?
down,
All right.
and
Well,
all the way back down.
when I'm done with my first cycle, I will come back to you. Because goddamn, 10 plates, I
Yeah.
get crushed. I get dead bugged immediately
Yeah.
under 10 plates.
But make an adaptation to it. Do it with 25s.
Yeah, I
Do
might just like half plate everything that you just said until I get to five
right.
plates.
Or just do it, one plate per side, do it for 10 and then two for 20 and go as far as you can go. Can you
Yeah.
do three plates for 30 reps? And then if that's as far as you can go, come back down.
So you put one plate on and then you do 10 reps and then you put two and then you put another one on and then you do 20 reps. You're not just doing another 10 to get to 20.
Right. You're doing another 20 reps.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
It's I think it's like 1,000 rep set in
That
itself.
sounds pretty deadly.
Well,
Sounds pretty deadly.
not set. It's a jumble of sets, right? You do one plate per side for 10, and then, take a second, catch your breath, two, and then go,
We
right?
talking like a
Works
second?
it works really well if you have a partner that you can kind of trade off with.
Okay.
So think about it that way.
Okay. Fair enough.
Basically, as long as you took to do the set, take that as your rest period.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it sounds like it would make my eyes bleed.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah. All right, cool. I will let you know how that goes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. See how far you can make it.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, holy shit.
It's like
Makes me nervous
you
already.
you can willpower leg press pretty far.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
There's kind of always one more
Yeah, I
left,
tell us everyone.
and so that's a fun one to see just how far you can take it.
Okay.
Um, if I had a leg press in my gym, I would definitely do them every once in a while, just to see how far I could make it.
Bam.
I don't think I'd make it past 5 plates.
That'd be intense, bro.
I think I could make it halfway up,
That is
but I don't
intense
know.
as hell. That is
Yeah,
intense as hell.
yeah,
I mean,
it's
like,
awesome.
you're a little bit stronger than me, so it's a little bit, I mean, it's still intimidating as all hell, but
Yeah,
you're a little bit stronger
it's
than me. You would,
it's
without a doubt,
intimidating.
get a little bit farther than me. I'd probably
Yeah,
die.
I'll
I'd
try.
probably die like three plates in, honestly.
Try it, see where you land,
We shall see.
and then do it once a month,
Yeah. Just bring
and
the
try
cojones out once a month. I'll bring my goggles so that when I bleed, we'll just fill up with blood.
when your eyes pop out, it'll
Yep,
catch them. Yep.
exactly. Yeah. Yep. I'll wear earmuffs,
Yeah.
keep my brain from falling out of my ears, and we'll be good. And a diaper.
And a diaper. Definitely
Hmm.
gonna need that one. Um, yeah. Um, Programming's fun. Those things are fun.
That sounds like fun. I like how we say this, like stuff like this is fun.
Yeah.
Like I have clients that don't like getting sore.
I think I lost you there.
Are they what? Oh, oh, you lost me.
I think I lost you.
It's probably better that way. No, I just said
Oh,
that it's funny that we call this stuff fun, but like at the same time, I have clients that like get sore and they don't like getting sore, and I have to like teach them that like this is a good pain, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an
I don't know.
acquired taste, you
Hmm.
know.
It's
So,
kind of like what do you think it takes to like do that? You know, to like get to that position where you're at like the end of your set, but you're only like halfway there, and you know it mentally, but you're like, you know what I mean? Like you're totally gassing yourself, and you know that you're gassing yourself, and you're tired, but you don't give up. You keep going. You keep pushing. Like there are a lot of people that would stop like with 5 reps in the tank. You've seen it. I've seen it. We see people do that all the time. Like, do you think it's as easy as just like telling someone like, don't drop that weight, just keep going, and they'll do it? Or do you think that it takes something from inside? And if it is, how do you get that light switch?
um,
How do we install that?
I don't think. I think it's one of those things you either have it or you don't.
Mm,
Honestly, but I think it's kind of the way that you approach going into the set. I when I try and explain rep ranges to my clients, this is how I try and instill the light switch. Is I tell them we have a rep range so that we can gauge what load we should put on the bar. But every time you go into a set, it's an AMRAP.
yeah, yeah,
If
without a
you
doubt, like no
happen,
questions.
right, every single time. If you loaded up the bar and your rep range is 6 to 8, and you made it to 8, no problem. Keep going.
You're getting 9 this
Like
time.
just right, just keep going because if you don't, you then write in your logbook that you did that weight for 8.
Dude.
And then next week, when you go back and look at it, you're like, oh, okay, I got it for 8. I should go up a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you could rep it out to 15, you're just putting yourself weeks and weeks behind.
Okay. See, I was on a different track than you. In my mind, putting 8 in that logbook, and then the next week you put an 8, that following week, I'd be like, all right, I better be up a rep here, or these past 2 weeks have been just BS. Like, I better be up if that's like happening to me. But you're right. Like, if you leave that many reps in the tank, like you're muffing up for sure.
It just you're you're cutting yourself short.
Yeah.
You know, aside from, not even creating the stimulus that you need to grow, you're cutting yourself short in learning where your actual potential lies,
Yeah.
right? And where you should be starting your sets.
Hmm.
Because when you only get 2 sets, you got to be on the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
our logbook is our roadmap.
Yeah.
We figure out our direction forward by looking behind.
Yeah. There's a lot more to the 2 sets than just, oh, 2 sets.
Right. It's it's not just, yeah, I only feel like doing 2 sets today.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a
No.
lazy thing.
No. It's literally
Right.
like, thank God I don't have to do a third set.
Right. Because I'll die.
Yeah, literally, dude. Like if I had to do a third set of RDLs, I'd be caked. I mean, depending on the rep range, but still,
That's what I put
I'd
in.
be pretty gassed, you
I
know?
put in a third set of
That
RDLs.
was the exercise you did it to?
Yep.
Yep. Well, that is your
I just
baby. So, that is your baby.
I I decided I was proficient enough,
Mm,
and I was walking away from my 2 sets, well enough that I felt like I could do a third.
okay. Yeah. Yep.
I felt good enough about the 2 sets.
Well, lost you a little bit.
And
Sorry, Brady, I lost
good.
you a little bit.
Yeah, that's okay. Um, Basically what I was saying is I just I was feeling very, very good.
You're going in
Thank
slow-mo
you.
again.
So are you.
You're like, I'm feeling really good.
Oh man. Well, we gotta have technical difficulties sometimes.
Yep, it's gotta happen. Here or there. We good? We back?
Not really.
Not back yet. Not back.
We were doing so good.
Let me know.
Oh my goodness. You look like a video game from the 90s.
It's because you have that North Carolina Wi-Fi mixed in with this New
Yeah.
York Wi-Fi. Doesn't like it.
Oh,
We can't mix broadbands like
I
this.
got you back.
I'm back.
Oh, never mind.
I kind of got you a little bit too. You're back a little bit. Still doing the robot. Let me know if we're back.
I think it's me.
Just you? Oh, you think it's your Wi-Fi? I don't know if it's mine.
Uh, actually, it says poor connection.
Okay. Maybe we can just cut this out.
I think we're okay.
So, for those of you guys listening, I'd maybe skip until you hear us talking a little bit more consistently, and then rewind a little bit so you can hear us talk fully. I'm going to say this is about
Hmm.
2 skips worth. How we doing?
I'm gonna message you.
We back?
Give me 1 second.
All Gucci. Beep, 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 beep. So I'm not sure what this recording is going to come out to be like. We might just have to cut all of this. But if we do, it's okay. It's no big deal. So yeah, thanks for listening in, guys. This podcast isn't over yet, but we really appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to these 9 podcasts that we have in store for you guys. Like we had said earlier in the video, you can subscribe, you can like us, and I'd look forward to episode 10. It's episode 10. We're gonna have a guest star. It's gonna be pretty cool if I do say so myself. I think you guys could learn a lot from the person that we have on coming episode 10. And I think Brady is coming back here, sorting out those technical difficulties. He's rocking a plain white tee. It's a designer. How we doing?
Um,
곰납습니다. Whoa. Whoa. Can use this time to show you guys what Santa got me. I got some 35-degree below socks. We got some Tootsie Rolls. We got some Starburst. Yo, that quality is looking much, much fresher.
Yeah.
Oh, and now he's gone. I spoke too soon.
There we go. I think
You
we're
back?
good. I
All
think
right.
so.
Here we are.
That was fun.
Alrighty. Okay.
We're back from our technical difficulties. Um, I don't remember what I was talking about.
Um, yeah, so if you're someone who's doing more than 3 sets, I would highly consider you evaluate the quality of your sets and the intensity of your sets and see if you could get more out of less. Do 2 sets, go balls to the walls. Obviously, don't hurt yourself. Make sure that your form stays tight and every rep looks like the last one. And then basically, your last rep is going to be very slow, and you might only get like halfway up into your rep before you have to drop it, but that's okay. Just do that. Um, don't leave 6, 7 reps in the tank and give yourself another set to do the same thing because you could probably getting more out of less. What do you think?
Yeah. Stop training rep ranges.
Yeah,
How about that?
yeah.
Stop training rep ranges. Um,
Like when I was talking to, so when I was just talking to Riley. Shout out to Riley, Krish, not Kirsch, Krish. Um, I put him on the 2 set.
hold on.
Oh God.
Okay. We're still recording.
All right, we're good. Oh, could you imagine? Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I put Riley on the 2 set wave, and his sister's on the 2 set wave too, just because they work together. And he's like I was telling him, it's like it's almost impossible to not progress off of this 2 set rep scheme, just because every time you go in there, you're going in there to outlift your previous session. It's like you're not going to go in there having ripped 225 or 135 for 8 reps, and then the following week you're not going to go in there and say, I'm going to pull it for 6. You're going to pull it for either 8 and break even, or if you have the mentality like we do, you're going to go in there and you're going to go an extra rep up and you're going to get 9 reps instead of 8 reps. It's so hard to not progress on this rep
Yeah.
scheme. Because when you're doing like 15, 12, 10, 8, it's kind of like you just grab the same weighted dumbbells each time and you do those repetitions. You don't you don't
It
have
becomes less about progression.
you don't have like a 10 rep set and you're like, and these guys aren't like, okay, I'm going to see if I can do 15 with it. Because odds are, if you had that weight in your hand and you did 10 and you go up 5 pounds, you probably could have done that weight for 5 more reps.
Mhm.
So, so yeah, it's kind of damn near impossible to not progress on a 2 rep or a 2 set rep scheme. And what we do is we have a higher load set. That's our top set. So the other thing that I also see people do is they'll open up with a high rep range. So they'll open up with like with their top set being like in the 15 rep range, and then they'll work their way to the bottom. What we
Yeah.
do is we start off with our top set with the highest working weight, and we get as many repetitions out of it as we can. And then on the second set, we back off into a higher rep range, a lower weight, and then we do the same mentality, same approach with the 12 to 15 rep range as we would the 6 to 8 rep range. We are going in there to, again, get an extra rep up or break even. Most likely get a rep up, though, because who wants to break even? Um, Anything to say on that?
No, I think that was spot on. I think we've covered how the training style works.
Yeah.
I, if it doesn't make sense, shoot one of us a message.
Hit us up.
At this point, I think we've kind of covered it. We've covered this multiple times,
hmm
right? As we do a lot of different topics.
Yeah, because it's
Uh,
important.
right. And really, we will just cover the same topics over and over again because that's bodybuilding. We just do the same things over and over again.
Yeah, we get really good at them.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, if you still aren't understanding how the style of training works, give Brandon or I a a DM on Instagram or a comment on the video if you're watching on YouTube, and we can try and explain it further and help you kind of adopt this training style because it'll probably help you progress and really get better in the gym. So
Yeah, big
I
moves.
think yeah, that's that on training. Um, I
That
had a
is that
question
on
for you.
training. What was that?
I have a question for you.
You. All
Ooh,
right, let's hear it.
you've been rock climbing recently. Why so? What sprung about rock climbing?
I literally got invited by one of my friends, Riley, that I was just talking to you about. Um, he was like, "Yo, this is literally 2 weeks ago. Like, don't think I'm like a climbing aficionado by any means, guys.
He
But
isn't.
I literally started like 2 weeks ago. I guess I should say rekindled a novice flame because like a year ago I did it maybe like 3 times just because like I was going with my friends again
Mm.
because they invited me, and then I didn't do it for like a year up until 2 weeks ago, and Riley was, he was like, I think it was like a leg day or something, but we were in the gym and he was like, "Yo, you should come through." Like my sister and I, Amber, we've been going to the Gravity Vault, which is like a place like literally 40 minutes out, in Poughkeepsie. No big
Wow.
deal, guys. I don't mind the drive. Um, but yeah, it's kind of deep. Um, and they're good people, super cool, super fun to chill with. So, we just started climbing. Um, it's kind of random, but I'm not like okay that like I'm gonna be a rock climber now. Like screw lifting. Like nah. Like I'm like I did legs before, obviously, and then I went and rock climbed. I have no interest in injuring myself. I do like the challenge though. Cool challenge. Really cool challenge in my opinion. Just because it's like it's so much different. You're using your body in a much different way than you would when you're like typically lifting. And I do like the mental challenge of like failing on something that because they have like versions of they have different paths that you can take. So they'll have like red, green, not that the colors are indicative of the difficulty. It's more so like the tag that is associated with it. So like you'll start on like a red rock or whatever, and like that rock will have like a tag on it and it will say like V2 or V3 or V1, and that is how difficult that path is. And like you start to realize that like you do something like easier and you fly up and it feels great and you touch the top, you're like yeah, you like drop down, and then you do something like a little bit more challenging and you like fail on it a few times and you're like oh like what the hell, but then it like you slowly start like getting it and then it kind of clicks and then you feel really good when you hit the top, and then you've got ones that just like totally put you in your place and there you just can't do them and you're like oh I'm gonna get you next week, but like it's not gonna happen.
Right.
So and then there's the I forgot what they call it. But there's like a high rope one. It's not like a high ropes course. It's just like you're belayed, you're in a harness and you can climb up.
Yeah, yeah.
So Amber, Riley's sister, and her boyfriend John, they're like belay certified. I also want to get belay certified because I think it'd be really dope to take Kelsey and just like have her like squirrel up a wall.
I'm
Um,
certified.
are you?
Yeah,
Oh shit. Yeah, it's not that difficult
I used to.
apparently.
I used to climb.
What?
I said I used to climb.
Oh, cool. Oh, okay. Well, all right. I'm obviously talking to the viewers then.
Yeah.
Brady's like a black belt climber. Like I just don't know this. A pocket climber. So yeah, there are ones that, like it's like a cool challenge, and I'm also like low key afraid of heights. So like when I get to like the top of these ones, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do it." I'm like, "Do it," and I just like do it, and that feels really good too. So yeah, and my grip, dude, my grip was obviously rocked for like last week. Mondays is buy one or bring a friend. They pay for free, I guess. It's like buy one get one off. Um, so like I've been going on Mondays with them and like squeaking in. Um, but yeah, like last Monday, dude, my forearms were like rocked till till like today, pretty much, and then I rocked them again. So now I'm like, no
Running
pun intended.
messes you up, man.
Yeah, it really does. Like my grip strength took a hit. I was okay with like the rest of the stuff. My grip strength was on fire. It's crazy. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you
and these
think
calluses from the barbell, they don't help nearly as much as you would think. Totally different.
you really don't use this part of your hand that much?
No, no. It's literally like the nubbins of your fingers, and
Yeah,
you're like squirreled on a wall.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Do you think it's affecting your training at all?
No.
Like your recovery?
Um, yeah, like especially with the whole like I'm not like whooped. My entire body's fine the day after. It's just my grip was just rocked to shit. That was really it.
That should
And
catch up.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I give myself like a week. And then the only thing that I would really affect is maybe my RDL or my rack chin of some sort. But I have wrist wraps, so or I have straps, so that doesn't really affect it too much. So I'm okay, you know.
All
And I
right.
pulled an RDL today too before I went. Like I've been training before I obviously go and do that, so that I don't tire myself out for my actual training session. Because then I'm not gonna go ham like rock climbing and hurt myself because I don't want to do that. Shout out to Matt Moreau. He broke his arm rock
Oh,
climbing like a year and a half ago, maybe at this point. So, I don't want to like Matt Moreau myself and be out for a little bit.
yeah.
I've learned from him.
Ooh, that's a good segue for a question I had. Have you ever had any injuries?
Yeah, dude. I was nursing a hamstring injury for like 2 years, bro. Up
Really?
until literally quarantine. Yeah. So catch this. When I was at Brockport, Kelsey and I we went to the track, and this is like so random. Like we were like, yeah, we're both gonna get healthy, and like we both started like running together and like doing stuff together, and like we went to the track and like we would do some sprints or she would do like whatever because she was on the track team and stuff. And I'm like kind of working on my split at the time, and we're like in the fields like towards the end of the workout, and I'm like I can get this split. I'm like so close. I'm in a split. Like I'm pretty close. My crotch is probably like 6 inches away from the ground. I'm like I can get there. And I literally like I'm like not like bouncing, but I'm like really like I'm like shimmying my heels like further and further away and like really sinking into it. And then like all of a sudden I'm like, and I felt my adductor. It was like high groin adductor just popped, straight up popped, and I was like, that was not good. And then I stood up, hurt like a biatch, and then
Yeah.
I like gave it a little stretch, and then it just like went straight cramping, just like cramped up. And then, dude, like I've never had a pain, like I haven't had an injury like this, but this is definitely my first injury ever, and it was because I was doing a split and being stupid. And dude, ever since quarantine, it's been giving me problems. Like every time I went to RDL, every time I went to standing ham curl, boom, it would just like light right up. And every time I would go into like knee flexion, it just light right up. And I couldn't shake it, dude. I could not shake it. And then quarantine happened, and I couldn't do anything for 3 months. And now I have no pain, and it has not acted up on me since. Knock on wood. Dead ass. So,
Mhm.
so here's to the quarantine gods because they helped me there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
I was gonna ask what you did for it, but I guess you didn't really do
I
it.
did nothing. I mean, I did exactly what you should do is nothing. Kind of like thinking
That's
about it. I mean, it really did help because I didn't aggravate anything. Like, just hear me out. Like, because I wasn't someone who could just take a chill pill and not do something. So, taking that chill pill allowed me to not do anything, to not re-aggravate that tendon or whatever was going in there because I really didn't know what was good. I was being proactive about it and really trying to help it, and it was getting fixed for a second, but then it just came back up. Like it was like a tendonitis kind of a thing where like the
Yeah.
smallest little thing would kind of send it right back into where it was. So like taking that time away, and I'm like, dude, I'm telling you right now, like it was like hamstring pain. Like it was like hamstring adductor pain, predominantly adductor, but it was pain. Like I was to the point where like I would just walk. I could feel it when I was sitting, like driving my car. I could feel it. Like that's not cool. And just giving it the time that it needed to heal, I guess. Yeah, I obviously went a little bit too far with the healing process. I don't think I necessarily should have sat on my ass for as long as I did, but I think that there was a very necessary time frame to allow that to heal up and not re-aggravate it. Definitely. But I got really deconditioned, I will admit. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And,
What about you, dude? I know that you had a shoulder injury a little bit ago.
I've other than the shoulder, I'll talk about shoulder first. Um, so earlier in this podcast, we talked about how I was getting some shoulder pain in here,
Yeah.
um, which is actually where my shoulder injury was a year and a half, no, 2.5 years ago. Wow. 2.5 years ago.
Time flies.
um, yeah, I think I never really got it diagnosed, so I don't know. Um, I thought it was my labrum for a while. And it's because I was doing stupid shit. Um, Mostly just not controlling my bench presses.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just yeah, and so I just messed up my whole shoulder area in here where my chest and shoulder and bicep all connect. There's so many tendons and connections and nerves that run in through this little space in here. I forget what it's called, but
It's like the
that
subacromial space or whatever.
yeah, if something gets aggravated in there and then it gets inflamed, um, you're going to feel pain. It'll literally be like inside your shoulder.
Mm.
Um, and so that's kind of what happened to me. I think something just got really aggravated in there, and then I never really gave it the time to heal, which then just made it more aggravated, and everything in there just started to, kind of fill the gap and kind of rub against each other, and it turned into this whole mess. Uh, and that was one thing that I let knock me out of the gym for way too long.
Mm.
It just got me upset. I was very upset about it.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah,
but
dealing with
then
injuries sucks.
my other injury, this one is way cooler. Oh, I actually had a back injury. Yeah, I had a pinched nerve in my back, like right in my central nervous system, and it essentially paralyzed the whole right side of my body. If I aggravated it and basically the nerve pinched, the whole right side of my body would just like die. Not
Entire right side.
like not actually die, but it would just like all of it would. I'd lose all feeling, and I'd literally like I fell over the first time it happened.
Tingling, pins and needles.
Just like yeah,
Just
yeah,
calling.
yeah, kind of
Okay.
like pins and needles, but like couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah. Whoa. Scary.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
The and it kind of I guess it was almost a chronic issue because it happened more than once.
Wow.
um, the first time it ever happened, I think I was a senior in high school. Um, I was getting ready for school in the morning, and I like lifted my arm up to brush my teeth. And when I lifted my arm, it moved my scap right that pinched the nerve, and I literally just collapsed in the bathroom.
Whoa.
And I
I
had
heard you.
no idea what was going on. It hurt so bad. Like I was in
Wow.
pain.
Dude,
Um,
that's nuts.
yeah, I walked around with a cane for a while in high school
Oh my God.
just because I couldn't walk.
Dude,
Right.
holy
It,
shit, man.
yeah, it was really bad. Um, like if I put pressure through my leg, it would go all the way upstream. Basically, the pinched nerve was like right at the scap. So if I
Mm.
did anything with it, it would just it would act up.
Yeah.
And so I kind of walked around with a cane to keep pressure off of my foot. so that it wouldn't aggravate. It,
Yeah.
that should help people recognize that everything is interconnected in our body. It like
God damn.
the issue was all the way up here, you know, into my back though, but taking a step affected it.
Yeah.
So everything's connected. But that happened, and then it never really got diagnosed until I went to Rockport, and then it happened again. Um,
This is for the second time.
this was the second time I was pulling a deadlift, and yeah, I was pulling a deadlift, and I was fine with the weight, but it tapped the ground wrong, and it got that
Yeah.
bounce, and it threw me off, and it re-triggered it, and I was just like, I was messed up again.
Yeah.
And so I went to the athletic trainers in Brockport, and they actually figured it out for me. Like when it first happened, I went to doctors and stuff. They had no idea what was wrong with me. I went
Yeah.
to a chiropractor, and chiropractor was shit, and he just cracked me a couple of times. Like, you're good.
Yep.
I was like, I'm not. I was in so much pain after that chiropractor visit.
Really?
Oh yeah, I don't think I walked the rest of the day. Like I couldn't move. It messed me up.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a bad time. But in Rockport, I went to the athletic trainers, and they kind of moved me through like this whole central nervous system reset. I had to do a whole bunch of different movements, and they like pressure pointed different things, and it just like reset my whole central nervous system. And let me tell you what, man, I have never slept better in my life.
After that.
I would get home from it was like a 15-minute session where we just moved things around and they pushed on places, and I would get back to my dorm, I'd get in bed and I'd knock out for like 4 hours.
Oh
I,
shit.
like just I don't know what it is. I don't know enough about the central nervous system to talk about it. But when they played with it and they did the whole reset, it knocked me out. Like
That's
it was
really interesting. That's really interesting.
yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah. That's
Like
really cool.
it
And you
was
haven't had a problem since.
fascinating. And they worked me through it, and then I started feeling better. It was awesome. And then
Wow.
yeah, and then I was good to go, and I've
Wow.
been pretty much good ever since. Um, there was one time during quarantine that I almost felt it like feel pressure again.
Yeah.
Um, and I just kind of like eased off for the week, and I was good.
Okay. Cool. Wow.
Yeah, but
That's interesting.
yeah, definitely the way cooler injury.
Definitely. Yeah. And it's got a really cool like recovery process as well. That's very interesting. So
hmm
maybe you had like a nerve like bundled up somewhere
Yeah,
and like a
probably.
bit of fascia and they like loosened it up or something. That's really cool.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was really interesting.
Yeah. That is really interesting. Yeah, it's pretty crazy the spine and like the spinal cord and how like it works and like shit like that. It's like it's very like systematic. Like it's almost like robotic. Like if shit happens like higher in your spine, pretty much everything underneath wherever the
Yeah,
trauma is
everything
doesn't
counts
work very well.
is
Yeah.
effective. Yeah,
Yeah. Like if you have a cervical issue like in your neck, that's not cool.
yeah,
Because underneath your neck is your lungs, and those things do innervate your lungs. Like it's apparently like it's really bad if you have like obviously like a cervical neck injury compared to like a lower lumbar one, just because it's like it can turn your lungs off. Like how crazy is that?
yeah.
That's nuts.
It's the human body is so cool.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. Yeah,
I've I've never pulled a muscle though,
I think I had a massive.
or torn a muscle.
Yeah, I've never like bought like I've never like third degree strained anything.
Yeah,
Definitely. like bicep like rolled. Like I've never had a muscle like roll back up into its origin point, or
Ugh.
anything like that. Yeah, that's so nuts. Like guys like deadlifting and then their like bicep rolls up into their shoulder. Yeah. So knock on wood. But outside of that hand or the adductor thing, that was rough. Like I heard that pop. That was
Mhm.
not hurt.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
expecting at some point I'll probably have some other injury.
Ah, don't say that, man. You're good.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, man.
I don't know what it would be though.
I
I think
know.
some
That's so scary.
just like how I perform movements, and I think it's gonna keep me healthy for a long time.
hmm
But I figure at some point something has to happen.
The way I think of it, dude, it's like if you're a parent and you have kids, they're gonna get hurt somehow. Like
Right.
you've got a couple ER
It,
trips in you.
yeah, like
Same
I
thing with
think
us.
it's kind of part of the sport.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
suppose.
There are times where I also think the same thing when I'm like, it's been a while since like something bad's happened. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's happened. Like, things have kind of gone too well for too
yeah,
long.
exactly. I know. I was like just talking to my dad and yeah, we were like talking about hernias and I like stupidly was like, yeah, I'll never get a hernia because like I lift properly and I'm like, fuck, I should not have said that.
Yeah, I'm I'm hoping that I never get a hernia.
Yeah, me too. They don't sound very fun. I mean, they're kind of easier fixes nowadays, but still, I don't want anything wrong with me, period. I don't want anything happening. Knock on
Yeah.
wood.
I don't know. I think the surgery just kind of messes people up, though.
It really does, dude. I am so afraid of doctors just because I see how much they mess people up. Like there are circumstances where like it works out and people have like a great surgery and people boast all about it, but there are so many more scenarios that I've heard from people where they're like, I got this surgery and I've been messed up ever since. Or I
Yeah.
went to the doctor and they told me I couldn't do something forever. It's like they
Yep.
told me that I'll never be able to get my arms over my head forever. And they're like 20 years old. I'm like, are you kidding me? Your doctor told you that you'll never get your hands over your head and you're 25, get out of town. Like I'm like, get over here. Let's figure out what we can do for you.
Let's
Because
get to work.
yeah, exactly. Like let's just cut the BS. I I'm that's like one of the more upsetting things is just when a doctor tells someone that they can't do something to make and then it like frightens them.
Yeah.
I, I have people that don't even know what the doctors did to them. Like they had like super invasive surgeries and I'm like, what else? Like what happened? Like the details. Like tell me the details. And they're
Right.
like, I don't know. Like as a
Uh,
matter of fact, I didn't even want to know, so I still don't know. And I'm like, I need more than that. Is your
right.
spine fused? Like,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
That's the whole tangent on doctors again.
yeah, exactly.
What episode was that?
Yeah, we can't. I don't. I think that was like probably
6?
3 or 4, maybe.
Was it really that early? No.
Yeah, we just like went right right into it.
Yeah.
Like episode 1, why doctors are no
My
good.
doctors suck.
Yeah,
But yeah, injuries are interesting. You know,
very.
although that one sounds kind of scary, um, I think I'm very fortunate that I haven't really had anything crazy that's, you know, fully changed who I am and what I do. Um, like I haven't had any muscle tears,
Yeah.
or hernia, or I haven't even had a broken bone,
Yeah, me neither. Knock on wood. I do
right?
have a nasty scar on my back though. You have any
Dude,
scars?
what? No. Well,
Um,
yeah, I've got a couple.
cool. Nice. Battle scars.
I've
There's a
got a.
shark.
Can you see it?
Oh yeah, that was a shark.
It was.
I could
It
tell.
was. Oh. No, this I was working on making car parts, and a tool slipped,
Ooh.
blasted my finger.
Is that a gusher?
No.
Really?
Yeah, and because the tool that slipped was a tool that was rotating very, very, very fast.
Ah, you lucky.
Rotating so fast it actually cauterized the skin as it cut it. So
Oh my God.
there was zero blood.
God damn, dude.
It
Yo. That's
was,
crazy, man. Holy shit. Wow. Damn.
yeah,
Yo,
that,
that's crazy. What was it
that
on?
happened at like 2 a.m.
Oh, nice. Yeah, like, God damn it, Brady.
Yeah, in a previous business, we had a big launch coming, and I had to make sure I had these parts ready to ship out. And so I was up very late making car parts.
Well,
I was so mad when this happened.
yeah, I bet,
Through
dude.
schools, I was so pissed.
Yeah, yeah, you had to have been.
I just wanted to go to bed.
Right? I know. Now you got to go to the hospital
Yeah,
and deal with
no,
all that stuff.
dude,
Oh
I don't,
no.
dude, no, I
Oh
taped
hell
it.
yeah.
I taped
Damn.
it, kept working.
Brady's a badass. Jesus.
I don't go to doctors. It's actually
God.
something that I need to start doing because I'm getting deeper into the sport.
Yeah.
Is go to doctors. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I actually learned the other day that I don't have like a primary care physician.
Mm.
Is that what it is? Physician? Yeah.
Yeah. You got to make sure you have like insurance too, I guess.
That I
But
do.
okay.
But yeah, I don't have a primary care or any doctor that I'm just like, yeah, let me call up my doctor. No, I
Mm-hmm.
don't. I don't have anyone like that. So I got to get
Brady
one of
is
the.
his own doctor.
I, dude, I am my own doctor. I, I have fixed almost every problem I've ever had by
True.
now.
Yeah. Who needs a doctor?
Who needs doctors? They don't know shit anyway.
I ask myself to cough.
But I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm sure
Yeah.
doctors.
Definitely should have a
Some,
primary care physician.
yeah. But I want to start getting blood work done. Make sure I'm up to tabs and I'm healthy and things are looking okay.
Yeah,
Because that's kind of what takes people out of the sport
of course.
more than injuries is their blood
Yeah.
work, their organ health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I I'm getting on top of that and gonna get some blood work done and go through it all, make sure I'm doing okay.
Cool.
I think I am. I feel fine. I've
Yeah.
got good blood pressure and all that stuff, so
That's
everything's
good.
okay.
Yeah. I know you take your vitamins too, so stuff's probably looking okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But you never know, right? Um,
No, you never know. You got to get it checked out so that you can actually see those numbers for yourself. Definitely.
there's
Sure.
there's someone in the team, the Gloff team, that he thought he was fine, but he actually went and got his blood work, and there was I forgot what it was, but there was some piece that was off, and they're like, oh, we should probably look into this.
Mm,
It might have been his blood sugar.
okay.
Yeah,
Well, hmm. Yeah.
but
Get that
yeah,
shit checked.
blood work is a good thing to have and look through,
Definitely.
especially if you're in the sport and you're doing, kind of getting
Yeah, if you're
heavy.
massing,
Yeah,
definitely. If you're massing, because when you start pushing your body weight up, biomarkers tend to not do so hot when you start putting weight on.
yeah,
So,
yeah, especially when you're pushing hard.
yeah.
Um, we're both natural, but if you're a geared athlete, you should absolutely be getting blood work done regularly.
Yeah.
Um, you know, probably every other month.
Yeah.
If you're close to a show, get it done once a month.
Yeah, I was gonna say once a month for some peeps.
Right. Um, so definitely make sure you're on top of your health and your blood work, because stuff like that can take you out of this sport faster than any injury will.
Yeah, I
Uh,
agree.
and you can really mess yourself up. So
Yeah. I feel
definitely,
like injuries are a nice they can set you up for success if you look at them the right way.
explain.
So like when you finally get over your injury, it's kind of like a weight has been lifted off of you. especially if you're someone who's more proactive in kind of healing what was good. Like for me, it was kind of just like, oh God, like the shackles came off by themselves. I was like, all right. But like for you, is like, you had to do a little bit more digging. You had to kind of figure out what was, wrong,
Mhm.
and you were able to kind of you found more answers, and you got to the bottom of it a little bit more. You might still have like a little bit in there. Who knows? Like the last like 5% maybe needs to be wiggled out, but
Right.
like you've overcome it. So like you're a better person after having overcome something like that. You know, it was
Yeah.
nothing life changing. You know, like the clouds didn't open up and you were like, okay, I gotta chill. But it was something that definitely kind of challenged you a little bit and made you grow.
Yeah.
Some people just stop. If that happened to anyone else, some people would have just been like, that's it for my lifting career. Like, I like having both of my legs. Like,
Yeah, it's funny that that one didn't stop me at all.
yeah,
Like, but my shoulder one, it just like it took me out for like 6 months.
damn.
It just it really poo-pooed my mood.
It does, yeah, dude. Get like
That's
being having an injury is poo poo.
yeah. And looking back on it, I'm sitting in a bed right now, by the way.
I know I could like see Haley's toes like chime in every once in a while. Like dink dink.
um, yeah, if looking back on it, if I would have had some more guidance on what to do when injury happens, because I really didn't have any guidance. I was just kind of running by myself like
Mhm.
normal. Um, and so what I would have done instead is taken that time to just like grow my legs like crazy,
Yeah.
like just perfect hitting legs because it was just in my shoulder. Really the only movements that didn't work for me were pressing movements.
Yeah.
That was it. I could still hit back, probably. Um, I could still hit legs. I could still hit arms.
Hmm.
Like I wish I would have realized that even though I was going to have to take some time off of chest, there was still so much other progress I could have made in that time.
Yeah.
You know, so if I could go back, that's what I would have done.
Yep.
Um, However, in that time off, that led me to my tremendous weight gain, which led me to Gloff, and now I'm here.
Exactly. Yep. Everything happens for a reason, dude.
Yeah, it all works out,
It really does. Yeah. It all comes out in the wash. I
But I'll
think
be honest, it would be cool to have like a crazy set of legs right now.
I could I concur.
You know, I don't know. I think I probably would have ended up um working with Nick either way. Because like I picked up to work with him as soon as I saw him advertising that he was taking clients.
Mm.
Like I remember he put out like a testimonial from a client, and he was like, "I'm taking on clients." I was like, "Cool," and I sent him a message.
Yeah.
So I think either way, I probably would have ended up with Nick. But what I learned from my journey, starting where I did, um, was really beneficial. It taught me a lot.
Yeah. I think it's all very necessary to get where you need to get, or after you've gotten where you've gotten. Everything that led up to where you're standing right now was necessary
Yeah,
and just as much a part of the process, even if it was bad, as the good stuff. You know?
yeah. Even if from an outside perspective it looks like you lost your way,
Yeah.
Something was learned there
Yeah.
that allowed
Exactly.
you to get to where you needed to be.
Yeah. I think Pitbull said there's no failures, only lessons, which is very true. It's very true. You know, it's like, it's really, I think the biggest thing that can shift in someone is their mentality, you know,
Yeah, big
and
time.
how, because you can look at the same picture two different ways. So it just depends on what you are seeing and what you're allowing to speak louder in your head. I always, I do think that there's a part of you that wants you to fail, and there's a part of you that wants to succeed. And I think people listen to either of the two advocates, one a little bit more than the other. Like sometimes the one that's telling you that you can't is speaking a little bit louder, or you're just paying attention more to that one than the one that's telling you that you can do certain things. And I
Mhm.
think that once you stop allowing yourself to kind of bully yourself, because like let's be honest, we can be dickheads to ourselves. Like we are the biggest jerks to ourselves, in my opinion. I think we're the hardest critics. So just knowing that you have that inner critic and not allowing you to get in your way, and just it can change the way that you look at things, especially things that kind of test you and that try you, like injuries.
Yeah, yeah, I think fortitude.
Yeah.
All right, man. How long have we been on?
I'm gonna say like an hour, maybe
Hour and
20.
a half.
Yeah, I was gonna say like hour 20, hour 30. We were probably talking for like 10, maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah, beforehand.
Yeah. What do you
Um,
think? Should we call it?
I don't know if I have any other questions. Let me take one quick look.
Yeah,
By
all
the way,
my questions were on rep schemes and progression.
oh, so we kind of covered that.
Yeah, we beat those.
um, yeah. By the way, if you listen to this and you have a question, Brandon and I generally try to put up a poll on our Instagrams before we record this, and that's kind of a good place to get your questions in. Um, I'll say it again. Brandon's Instagram is at Capo Raw, and mine is at dude who trains underscore Brady Thistle.
Yes,
Those
sir.
are in the description as well, so you can find those there. Let's see here. We gotta have one question to wrap this up on.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna scroll to a random one.
Yes.
Oh crap!
Jesus.
Sounds crap. um. Ooh. Okay. This is actually a bit of an odd question to end the podcast on, but we're gonna go with it anyway.
I like it.
Do you think you need to specifically train traps?
I do. I always hear that, and I'm always like, you don't need to directly train them. So I'm like, I'm on the side of no, you don't have to directly train them. That's it.
Okay.
But I
Well,
should probably give a little bit more reasoning.
yeah. Give some explanation as to why you don't have to directly train them.
Okay. Um. So gotta crack my neck for this one, I guess. So the way I think about it is the trickle down volume that you get from other lifts, even though they might be like isometric, um, I do think that the traps get loaded a pretty decent amount with RDLs, um, and our rows and pretty much any rowing variation. And also, the dumbbell retractions also do a really good job of developing mid trap. And in my opinion, just kind of like everything. Like I know that the fiber direction doesn't really align for a dumbbell retraction, particularly like directly into the traps, but like
Close.
I think it's pretty dang close. Um, and I also think that even though something is isometric, I think it can still grow. Because if you think about your erectors and just developing like a big RDL and a big back, the erectors get bigger. And what's to say that the trap tissue wouldn't do the same?
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't think you have to directly train traps because they are um, being affected in your barbell row, in your any kind of deadlift, any hinged over pattern, right? So anytime you aren't trying to let your whole upper body collapse into a C, um, you're essentially utilizing your upper, mid, lats. You're using everything in your back to keep you from collapsing. All of the muscles in there have to hold their position, um, which is an isometric, um, so that you don't collapse.
Yeah.
Also, I think most people train traps the wrong way anyway. If they do, you can directly train. I, when people are talking about traps, I think they're talking about your upper traps here, right? The ones that most people think about, not your mid traps. Um,
Or even like, yeah, that's another big thing. Like your traps literally start at the base of your skull and they go all the way like into your mid-thoracic back. Like I
yeah,
don't think people know that
yeah.
either.
So I think most people are talking about these traps that are
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Um, so what you see a lot of people do is shrugs,
Mm-hmm.
which is a really ineffective way to train traps.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how the muscle fibers lay. All you're doing is just testing your shoulders' ability to not disconnect at the joint. um, if you wanted to do upper traps, you can take that same idea that you're doing and then lean over at like a 15-degree angle. So
Yeah.
lean forward at a 15-degree angle and then shrug,
Yeah.
right? Um, so your traps, their fibers run this way,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so um, yeah, sure, this is your traps, right? And so when you're squeezing them like this, doing this with your shoulders doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's just very, very ineffective way to try and train traps. Um, go with the way the muscle fibers lay, and then stretch them fully.
Mm-hmm.
So it's this position, and then all the way back.
Yeah. I've even seen dudes grab like crucifix style, not cables crossed, but like a cable down maybe on like the third pin from the bottom, and they literally just like come in like linearly, but still at the same time, it's like, yes, you'll access those fibers. But what is doing that 1,000 times over going to do for your traps? Probably not nearly as much as holding an RDL, like bent at
Yeah,
90. You know what I
literally.
mean?
Again, and this is why we don't train them directly. If you're doing a barbell row, you're working your traps.
Yes.
Everything in that musculature, when you move your scaps around your spine, is stretching and contracting. Or contracting and, yeah, I said that right. Stretching and contracting.
Yep.
Um, so that if you're doing a barbell row, there's no need. You got them covered.
I the fuck? I typed in traps 1 through 4 on Google, and I'm getting like plumbing, like PVC plumbing.
Nice. um,
There we go. Um, is my screen sharing by any chance?
it is. I see myself.
Hey. Oh, and now you're gone. Okay,
Um,
so
perfect.
yeah, basically, guys, this is the traps, and they run probably farther down than you thought. So like we had said, they start at the very top of the skull. So if you're doing anything that's like if you have a barbell in your hand and you're shrugging it directly up, none of these fibers from trap pretty much like trap 2 to trap 4 will not be summoned. You're pretty much accessing these upper fibers, kind of. But you can still see that the fiber direction, you still have to kind of pull in line with that fiber direction. If you're doing straight up and down, you're probably accessing these guys a little bit more, like T1. But still, we're
Nice.
looking for like full trap development, and that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah. Just get a slight bend and then do a hinge over about 15 degrees and then do the same exact movement that you were just doing. So
Yep.
say you grabbed a barbell and you're holding it in front of you and you're trying to do shrugs. Take that same exact movement except bend over 15 degrees and do it and tell me your traps aren't more engaged now.
Yeah.
Like
I actually do agree with that.
it's that different.
Yeah.
Um, so what were you
That's how
saying?
I've been doing them for like pretty much from the very beginning. I distinctly remember me with a bar in my hand and my torso angle around 15 degrees. And I was used like that's just like the bar path that I just really enjoyed. And I remember someone coming up to me and being like, I don't think you should like lean forward into that. And I was like, it's a little like, and this is at the time where I literally didn't know like jack, but I just knew that like having my torso like that just felt so much better.
Yeah. And it's just like if you're standing straight up, you're also just dragging the bar across your body.
Yeah.
Just bang. Like get the slight bend, it then is giving you or the bar clearance to move freely.
Hmm.
And you're going to be moving with the muscle fibers.
Yeah.
You're going to actually be able to achieve a stretched position,
Hmm.
which is scientifically proven to be where hypertrophy occurs.
Yeah, there are factors to hypertrophy. I also, dude, the other thing that I also see a lot of a big mistake with traps is I think it's just an ego lift as well. I think it's an opportunity for
Yeah,
someone to strap 4 plates on either side and move it 2 inches.
yeah,
You know?
that's true. Which is so funny because you can get way more out of it if you just do like a plate. Get the lean forward and actually do it right. You'll
Yeah.
get so much more out of the movement.
Hmm.
It's the same thing. It's funny. I've actually been thinking about this exact point like a ton recently, and I think it's because I do calves all the time. And it's like people will throw like like 5 plates on a calf machine, and then just start ripping it.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
like,
just do like tendon ups.
right, exactly. And it's just like if you have more plates on your calf machine than you do your squat bar, you're probably doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Like your calves are so small. You should not be able to calf raise more than you squat.
Pretty much.
There you go. There's your benchmark, you guys.
Pretty much. Yeah. You know, and it's like what's more impressive, you know? Like I think it's way more impressive for someone to handle a lower load but immaculately than it is to just be ridiculous with a high load.
Honestly, for most people, I don't care. I don't care at all. If you have 1 plate, we'll just continue to talk about calves. You could have 5 pounds on that calf machine,
Yeah.
and I won't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, do your calves.
As long as they're moving immaculately.
Right. Move it right. Do what you gotta do. I'm gonna
Or
do
even then, do you not care?
what?
Or even then, do you not care? Even if they're moving well, it's just like fucking, I don't care.
Um. Oh no, I like to see people move weight properly. That's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
but I don't give a shit what other people lift in the gym, honestly.
Except for
It,
Calvin.
except different rivalry. Good
Yeah,
for the sport.
it's a healthy Pokemon rivalry that we've got
Yeah.
going on here.
um. But yeah, I don't know. Everybody's in different places in their training career, right? I don't know
Yeah,
what their training program looks like. I don't know what their food looks like. I don't like. There's so many variables
yeah,
to everything that what somebody is lifting on a specific day has no weight in what I think about them, I suppose.
yeah.
Right?
Sorry, I'm hearing like rustling in the back. I don't know. Am I being robbed? I don't know. I think I'm
We'll
okay.
bring them in on the podcast. Guest star.
I was gonna say we caught him on the podcast, if anything. I'll start
Well,
shouting things out like Taken.
yeah, like someone could squat 135, and as long as they're doing it right, that's awesome. You know,
Yeah.
it could be a deload week for them. They could just be coming off of an injury.
Yeah.
There's so many reasons why the load on the bar just doesn't matter to me. Like I'd rather just see someone move weight well.
Yeah. Yeah, like there are so many reasons for someone to move a low load, but
Yeah,
there really are not a lot of reasons for someone to move a high load improperly.
yeah.
Yeah.
We got there from traps. Anyway, people, don't need to train your traps. Just do barbell rows
Yeah.
and just do compound movements.
Hmm.
Literally, that's it. Do compound movements.
Dude, you know what I will say, dude, is that ever since I started incorporating those, so like the retractions came to me a little bit later than they did you. Like I haven't had
Really?
retractions programmed for me until like a month or like 2 months ago, I'd say.
Oh, I've been doing them forever.
I know. Yeah, and your mid-trap development's been getting up there. I can see a difference, definitely. In my mid-trap development, just to say, like
Yeah,
the retractions have definitely been helping me in terms of mid-trap development. And I'm also, I think it's also the rowing a little bit heavier and pulling a little bit more on my RDL as well. But
yeah.
the retractions have definitely helped my shoulders for sure and my rowing path, just like my scaps kind of unlocking them. The ungluer, as we used to say.
Actually, I've started using them as a way to try and progress my RDL.
Hmm.
Um, just because a lot of times with my RDL, I'm getting to a weight now where I'm starting to collapse, and I can't keep like a neutral shoulder.
Mm.
Um, because my upper back just isn't strong enough to hold
Uh-huh.
425 for a minute straight.
Yeah, because
That
you're
won't-
literally like a buck 80, buck 90.
right. And so I'm using the retractions as a way to try and strengthen my upper back
Mm.
so that I can go further into my RDL sets.
Yeah, for sure.
So I've been taking the progress on those more seriously. I kind of treated them as just like more like a prep movement for a while, especially with quarantine because I only had up to 50-pound dumbbells.
Mm.
And then just recently, now I'm back in the gym and all that stuff, and I was like, I need to take these more seriously as like something to progress on. And so now I've far moved them up, and I'm retracting 80s, um,
Wow.
and just looking to continue to move it forward.
Good shit, dude.
It's actually been a lot better. So
Dope. Nice.
yeah,
I
I've
didn't know you were
definitely
retracting 80s. Good shit.
yeah, I definitely got super complacent with them.
Yeah, I can see
Like
it happening. I've been making it a point to sit in the stretches and get at that exercise and not put it on the back burner, and it's been paying off.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I took it like I said, I took it like a prep movement.
Hmm.
Instead of something that I was trying to progress load, I just used the same load and just went for the same feel every time.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to warm up my scaps,
Uh-huh.
and now I'm trying to make it a point to progress them.
Yeah, for sure.
So it'll be interesting to see how all that goes. I've uh, I've kind of had a bit of a mental switch in my training recently about um, nothing is an accessory, and everything should be taken with the same seriousness
Yeah,
and goal to progress as your main movement.
I
Um,
agree.
because I definitely like super slacked um, trying to progress like my curls, um, just because they don't progress as fast.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know. I don't know. It that's a recent switch for me, so I'll
Yeah,
have to come back and kind of give some input later on how all that's going. But
I think
yeah,
that's funny.
it's like I just I got super complacent and just curled 25s for like months,
Yeah.
and and my arms never changed. Whoa,
Shacker. Yeah,
imagine that. And
I
so
know.
now
Yeah.
now I'll do I've moved my way up and I'll do 35s for 10 to 12 and
Hmm.
just working on pushing that and then get them to 15 and then go to 40s and then get them to 15 and then go to 45s and just like actually try and progress my accessory movements, um, especially since my arms are already a slacking body part.
Hmm. I might go back to, I mean, also, I need to stop slacking on them as well. I think it's so funny. It's like completely opposite for, you ask anyone else and they're like, everything else is on the back burner besides their shoulders and their arms or their chest. And then you ask us and it's like, yeah, our biceps.
Hate
You
training.
know, yeah. I think it's so funny.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is.
Where you need to go back to?
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
It's
I
good.
I literally like forgot and I was like, fuck it, it doesn't matter. Um, dude, so I know Nick isn't really a believer of like intraset intensifiers outside of like partials so far. I mean, I'm sure he's fine with a bunch of other things as well, like drop sets and stuff like that. But I know he doesn't like adding things in until it's necessary. But like I used to I had like occluded arms in put in like almost at the end of every session, if not every other session for my arms.
Mm.
And my arms were much bigger than they are now. So I might I might start occluding my arms and doing that, putting a little bit more volume into them.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
that actually is fun. Like occluding your arms because you get like you feel like you have like Thanos arms. And you're just like, oh, like you literally like snap and the world would break.
Yeah, I gotta make sure my arm training is up to par
Yeah.
before I do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was the thing that I was gonna say. Like, I have to make sure that everything else is like in line before we start adding in like
It has
intensifiers.
to be a certain standard
Yeah,
before
yeah.
I put it up.
There has to be some consistency.
You think I could do occluded calves?
Yeah, it sounds like a great idea, right? I've been there and I've done them. And long story short, you shouldn't do that because you have a nerve that innervates very superficial behind your knee,
Hmm.
and doing calves occluded can aggravate that nerve. So I would suggest not doing it often if you're going to. And here I am, like just like occluded calves, like bah, 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 like going up and down for like months, bro. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I should chill.
I'm just trying to fill all of my sweatpants.
Yeah. I think it's, I mean, what's this like occluding like upper leg and still doing calves would have a small effect, I'm guessing, but not nearly as much as like just straight up occluding that, like just your calf. But like I said, I don't think it's the safest thing to do anymore.
Yeah, probably not. I just wondered
Yeah.
if that was a thing that people did.
Yeah. Like that was enough for me to say, okay, maybe I won't do that then. I was like,
Maybe not.
like, because like most stuff, it's like, well, you can kind of push the limits there. But this one was like, there's a nerve that innervates that leg, so like maybe you shouldn't do that. I'm like, okay. I
I
don't want to
like.
like shear the lipid layer off of my nerve and further atrophy my calf. You can't afford that.
I don't know. I've got a good track record with nerves.
Yeah, I know, right,
You
Brady?
guys should try.
You should be the last person.
I'll lose my foot. The whole foot just goes black.
Yeah. You just have gangrene. What happened?
Yep.
Calf raises.
I was just doing calves.
Now it's gangrene. It's like World War II all over again.
Yeah.
Mm. Goddamn.
It is
Brady,
late, man. I think
go enjoy your night with Haley. Probably hates you.
we're gonna go to bed. So we'll wrap this one up, guys. Gosh dang it!
What just happened?
I, I
What just
unplugged
happened?
my webcam on accident.
Uh,
um,
you're like, let's wrap this up. Signing off like
Black.
immediately.
Just kidding. All right, guys. If you made it this far, thanks for listening to us ramble. Um, Go ahead and give us a like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Check us out on Apple Podcasts because that's where we are now, along with Spotify, YouTube, and a handful of other podcast channels. Um, yeah, just thank you guys for being here with us. We've finished the single digits. So next episode is episode number 10. That'll be coming out next Tuesday, and we got a special guest with us for that one. It's going to be a really cool podcast. Probably a lot of really good information with a
Definitely.
man much smarter than Brandon or myself. Um, so it'll be cool to get him on and pick his brain a bit. So be sure to tune in for that one. Um, Other than that, I think that's all I've got.
Signing out.
Signing out, guys. We'll catch you next week.
Hey, hey.